In this video, I'm gonna show you how to build literally any kind of website in just under an hour. You're actually gonna have a website up and running in just 10 minutes. Then after that, we're gonna customize it exactly the way we want. And when I say any kind of website, I mean it. You could be a plumber, a freelancer, an ad agency, a construction company, an accountant, or literally anything else. If you're looking to build your website quick and easy, then this video is for you. I'm gonna show you how to build the entire website using an easy to use drag and drop page builder, so you don't need to know any coding whatsoever for this entire tutorial. By the end of this video, you're gonna have a fully functioning website with as many pages as you want, where your future clients can look you up and get in contact immediately. My name is Levi Hagan with Create a Pro Website, and I'm gonna walk you through this process step by step. Now let's not waste any more time and get right into step number one, which is to get your domain name and web hosting. A domain name is just the address to your website. It's what people will enter into the search bar when they're looking for your site. So something like yourwebsite.com. And web hosting is just renting space on a server that's connected to the internet so that your website is actually online. Think of it like signing up for a phone service like Verizon. You have to have a phone number, and then you have to have service for your phone to be able to make calls. Same thing applies here. If you want your own website and to have a custom domain name for it, then you have to purchase your own web hosting, which I'm gonna show you how to do in this video, and I'm gonna give you a massive discount for it as well. Now, I'm sure that some of you are gonna ask, what about a free website? And my answer for you is simple. Yes, you can get a free website, but it does come with a lot of limitations. Like, you won't own your own domain name. It'll be something like yourwebsite.wix.com or squarespace.com or whoever might be hosting the website. It could even be a random string of numbers and letters that you don't even get to choose. You also cannot upload themes in order to customize your website exactly the way you want. You can't upload plugins to increase the functionality of your website. You can't monetize your website with ads in order to make money from it. And your website could be deleted at any time because you don't technically own it. So for these reasons, I recommend web hosting because it places you in control. So in order to get your domain name and hosting, just click on the very first link in the description or go to createaprowebsite.com/hostinger, and it'll take you to a page that looks like this. Now, by clicking on the affiliate link, which I do receive a commission from, you'll receive that massive discount on your web hosting plan, which can save you a lot of money. So I strongly recommend it. And it'll take you to the page that is my special co-branded landing page that I have with Hostinger. And so all we have to do is scroll on down here to the middle, and you'll see the three different plans that they're offering. We've got the single, the premium, and the business plan. And so I'm actually gonna go with the premium plan because of its affordable price, and it offers a whole bunch of things that you're gonna want for your website. So the first thing that it's gonna offer is those free emails that you're gonna have. So this could be something like, if you have a website that's yourdomain.com, then this could be something like support@yourdomain.com or levi@yourdomain.com or something like that. So they give you unlimited emails here. You're gonna get a free SSL certificate, so you're saving $11.95 for that, which the SSL certificate is incredibly important. It's what's gonna give you that little lock icon up here in the top left corner, and so you can see that it says your connection is secure. And so what an SSL certificate does is it's basically just the encryption for your website. So that's pretty important. You're also gonna get a free domain name right here, which is the value of $10. And so your domain name you also have to get when you get a website. So the fact that they're giving you 1 year off is pretty sweet. All right, so I'm gonna be selecting this plan, so I'm just gonna click on select right here. And now it's gonna ask me what kind of a period or term I wanna sign up for. So you can see that you can go 1 month, 12 months, 24 months, or 48 months. Now, personally, I recommend if you're starting a website to do 12 months, and the reason is your domain registration is charged every year, and so it's easy to have your hosting also set up to be charged every year as well. And also, you'll notice that when you sign up for the bigger plans like this, you get the 24, 48, and 12, you get the 78% off, so you're saving a whole bunch more money than if you just sign up for 1 month, because then you're paying $11.99 per month, and now you're signing up for 12 months and you're only paying $2 a month. So it's a pretty big deal. I'm gonna select the 12 months and then go ahead and scroll on down. And then number 2 is to select your payment, and they accept everything. They've got credit card, PayPal, Google Pay, and then some others as well. So I'm just gonna enter in my credit card information down below. But if we take a look at what we're getting charged for, we've got the premium shared hosting for 12 months. You're paying for all 12 months up front, and that's $143. You've got the SSL certificate for free, the domain registration for free, the setup for free. And then also, if you're using my affiliate link, which you would have this already in the coupon code Create a Pro Website, if you clicked on the link in the description, you're getting 78% off. So instead of $143, you're only paying $32 at the end of the day. So that's pretty great for your first website. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in my credit card information, and I'll see you guys in just a second. All right, and then after entering your payment info, we're just going to click on Start Now. And it's going to ask you a couple questions, but all you have to do is click on Skip at the very bottom. Of course, you can answer them if you want to, but I'm just going to skip them and move on to the next part. And now we get to select a platform. And this is another really cool part about using Hostinger, is they have an automatic download for WordPress in the background while you're setting up your domain and hosting. So as soon as you're done paying for everything, you're already going to be in your WordPress dashboard ready to start editing. So it saves you a whole bunch of time. You can select just WordPress right here, or if you're going to try and build an e-commerce website, you can also download WooCommerce with WordPress and have them both ready to go by the time you're already on your site. So I'm just going to download WordPress because this is not an e-commerce store, but so yeah, I'm just going to click on Select. And then next it's going to ask you to create a WordPress account. Now this is really important because this is what you're going to log into your website with every single time you want to edit your website. So the administrator email is fine, and then I'm going to create my own password. So make sure, again, that you remember this password, and then click on Continue. Okay, and then next it's going to ask if you guys want to download a theme, but I'm going to show you guys how to do this for free and on your own so that you guys know how to do it. So I'm just going to click on Skip. I don't need. So next is to claim your domain name. And again, you'll see that you get to claim a free domain name because of the packages that we just bought. So I'm going to click on Select right here. And now we can search whatever we want. So I'm going to try something like christhomasdetailing.com, just like this. And then I'm going to click on Search. All right, and now you can see that this domain name is available for the .com. And I always recommend using a .com because it's the most professional looking and also the most common that people look for when they're getting a website or looking for one as well. So now I'm going to click on Continue. All right, and so now it's just saying, let's finish up. And so we've got our domain name right here, the installed CMS, which is WordPress. And in case you're curious, CMS is content management system. And so basically WordPress is just managing your content for you. And then your admin email. So I'm going to click on Finish Setup, and we are good to go. And then you can just click on Finish Registration. Okay, so now it's going to tell us to wait just a little bit, and they're setting everything up for us. Now, this process is called propagation. And so basically, Hostinger is taking the domain name that you just purchased, and it's sending it across the entire world to every server to let everyone know that you just purchased it and that it's live. Sometimes this process can take only a few minutes to an hour, and sometimes it can take up to an entire day. It really just depends on where you are and some other variables. So that could be what they're doing right here, or they're just setting up my account. But once we get in and we try to open our website, if it doesn't open, it's probably just the propagation. So just give it a little bit of time and then just refresh the page. So it looks like Hostinger is saying that my website is ready. So now all I'm going to do is click on Manage WordPress right here. All right, and then this is your Hostinger dashboard where you have complete control of the back end of your website, but we're not really going to touch anything here. The only thing we're going to do is make sure that you set up your SSL certificate, and it's very easy. All you have to do is click on Set Up, and then it's going to ask, do you want to set it up to this domain name? And that's the one that you just bought, so you say yes, and that's all you have to do. They're going to take care of the rest, and you'll see that in the background, your SSL is being installed. So you can just close, and you're good to go. All right, so while our SSL certificate is downloading in the background, we can go ahead and move on to step number 2, which is to open WordPress. And to open WordPress, it's actually incredibly easy. All we have to do is go over here to the corner and click on Edit Website. And now Hostinger is going to automatically redirect you to your website and the WordPress dashboard. And so here we are. Now we can move on to step number 3, which is to install only one plugin. That's it. This one plugin is all you need to build your entire website. So in order to install that one plugin, we're going to go over here to this menu on the left-hand side. We're going to hover over plugins, and then we're going to click on Add New. So I'm going to open it up on a new tab. I'm also going to go ahead and close out both of these tabs. We don't need them anymore. Okay, so now I'm on the Add Plugins page, which is where I can search for whatever plugin I want. So I'm going to go over here to the right-hand side and search for one called Starter Templates. All right, and you'll notice it's the first one that pops up right here. And so I'm going to click on Install Now and then Activate. Now that we've installed, we can click on See Library, and from here you can see tons and tons of different templates for website builds. Once you're here, you can look for whatever industry you're in. If you're a photographer, you can just search for photographer and take a look at the different sites that they have. And if you're a web designer, like me, you can search for that as well. They've got it all. You could be a plumber, an ad agency, a construction company, a freelancer, and they literally have a website for you. And after installing your entire template, I'm gonna show you how to completely customize it to make it your own. I actually just had a buddy of mine tell me that he's starting his own car detailing service, so I'm gonna build a website as if it were for him. So I'm gonna go up to the top here and search for something called nature, because I was already looking through templates and I really like how this one looks. So I'm gonna choose this one and completely customize it to be my own. Now I know what you're thinking. This is not a car detailing website. It looks like it's a nature park website. But of course, with any of these templates, you can completely customize it to be whatever you want. That's the cool part here. So when you find a template that you like, you click on it and you can see a full preview on the right-hand side, as you can see. And so over here on the left-hand side, if you already have a logo ready to go, you can go ahead and upload it here and it'll automatically have it ready to go when the template is imported. But I'm gonna skip over this because I'm gonna show you guys how to build your own logo later. Now's the part where you can choose your different colors for the website. So right now it's set for this red color, but we can do whatever we want. If we want some yellow, you'll notice that any of these colors get imported, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave it on the red. And then down here, we can change the font as well. You can click on different ones and it completely changes all the font of the website. So it's pretty cool how much customization control you have. I'm gonna go ahead and go with this one, the Montserrat and the Lotto, and then I'm gonna click on continue. Now this is the cool part. You'll see under advanced options, it's automatically going to install and activate the Astra theme. So we no longer have to install a theme. It's going to do it for us. It's going to import all the customizer settings, import all the widgets, all of the content and everything. So again, all we need is this one plugin and just click on submit and build my website. And that's it. It's going to give you the entire website, install the theme for you and everything. This is a pretty great plugin. So once this is done loading, I'll see you guys in just a little bit. All right, and you'll notice right here it says, congratulations, your website is ready to go. So in order to view your website, you can click on it right here, but instead I'm gonna show you guys how to do it from your WordPress dashboard. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out of this tab and go back to my WordPress dashboard. Now, if you didn't open starter templates up on a new tab like I did, because I always like having a dashboard to go back to, you can just click on this button right here, which says exit to dashboard. All right, and now that I'm back on my WordPress dashboard, I'll close out of this one. I'm gonna go up and hover over my website name right here, and then you can click on the actual name or you can click on visit site. Both of them take you to your website. I'm gonna open it up on a new tab like this. Perfect. Now you can see that our template has been installed. This is what people see when they go to christhomasdetailing.com. So if someone were to go up to the search bar and type this in, this is what they would be looking at, except for the top ribbon up here, because of course we are logged into the back end of our website. So if I were to log out, so hover over this and click on log out, this wouldn't be here. So this is live. This is what your visitors are looking at right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out of this tab, and I can close out of this tab as well, and go back to the WordPress dashboard. Now, just a heads up, we just got your site up and running, and it's been about 10 minutes. So now all we have to do is completely customize it to be your own. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Now that we've installed the one plugin and got our template, we can move on to step number 4, which is to customize the homepage. Now, this is the part of the tutorial where we're gonna use that easy-to-use drag and drop page builder that I talked about earlier. And all we're gonna use it for is to swap out the sample content for our own images and text that we want on our site. Let me show you what I mean right now. So in order to open our website up in Elementor, I'm gonna go up to the top left corner and again, hover over my website and open it up on a new tab. From here, all you have to do is go to this top ribbon and click on Edit with Elementor. Now, if you didn't see the ribbon right there and the button that says Edit with Elementor, another way that you can do this is go over to your pages right here. And so I'll open this up on a new tab. And then you can hover over your website, and with each page of your website, so we'll go over the home page, you can click on Edit with Elementor right here. Okay, so now we are in Elementor and we're ready to go. I'm gonna close out of all of these and we're good to go. Okay, so now you'll notice that when I hover over everything, I can go ahead and edit everything on this live preview on the right-hand side of the screen. And then on the left-hand side is where all the menus are gonna show up. And so right now it's showing all the different widgets. So the way that Elementor works is we've got a section, which is basically this background here, and it's what's being lit up by this blue box. So when I hover over it, you see this blue box that goes all the way around. So inside of the section, which is essentially the background, we've got what's called a column. And so that's this gray dotted line right here. A column can hold multiple widgets. So inside of a column, we've got widgets, and that's these little blue squares right here. And a widget can be anything. Over here on the left-hand side, you're seeing all of the widgets right now. And so you've got images, you've got a text widget, you've got a heading widget, videos, buttons, dividers, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Like you can enter in like a Google Maps widget. It's pretty cool. So as you can see right here on our website, we've got, this is a heading widget right here. So if I click on it, you'll see that it says edit heading. This is another heading widget just with a different font category. So again, edit heading. And then when I click on this box, you'll see that it says edit button. So right here on the right-hand side, we can completely change everything on our website. So let's go ahead and get started by editing this hero section right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually swap these two heading widgets. So all I have to do is I can click on it and drag, and you'll notice this blue line appears, and I can place it wherever I want. I want this one above the first one. So I'm going to let it go, and you'll see that now I've got this text above this one. It's as easy as that. I can do the same thing with any widget. I can drag and drop this button wherever I want as well. But I want it right here. The next thing I'm going to do is completely remove this little arrow widget right here because it's kind of useless. So I'm going to right click on it, and it's an icon widget. I'm just going to say delete. All right, and when I do that, you'll notice that everything gets scrunched up to the bottom. Let's go ahead and fix that right now as well. I'm going to click on the 6 dots up here, and that's how I can edit the entire section or the background here. And the next thing I'm going to do is go over to the advanced options, and you'll see that the top has padding. So again, under the advanced tab, I've got padding. I'll explain this later, but basically what this is doing is just adding some space on the top. You can see right here. I'm going to go ahead and delete this number. So now I've got no space on top and no space on the bottom. So we're going to fix this again by going to the layout tab, and I can change the height to fit to screen. Perfect. And now it's automatically going to make this section fit to the length of the screen, or excuse me, the height of my screen. So that's what I want because I want it to automatically be as big as the screen. Okay, so now next thing I'm going to do is click on update right here to save my work. This green update button basically takes all the changes you just made and publishes it live to your website, essentially saving your work. So you're going to notice that I click the update button often so that I don't accidentally close out or lose connection or something, and then I have to do all my changes again. Okay. So now we've done this. The next thing I'm going to do while I'm editing the background is change this background image. So I'm going to go over here to the Style tab, and you'll notice that I can change the background image under Background. So here's Background and Background Overlay. I'm going to Background, and I can change the image right here. All I have to do is click on it, and then I can upload my own files. And then we're going to click on Select Files right here, and then you can, of course, just navigate to wherever you have your images saved. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and choose this one right here. So I'll click on Open. Now, one thing you can do to save yourself some time is actually upload all of your images at the same time. Let me show you guys how to do that really quickly. I'm going to go back to my WordPress dashboard. Now, again, if you didn't open this up on a new tab like I did, let's go ahead and finish this real quick. So I'll click on Insert Media. And so now I've got my image in the background. Let's click on Update real quick to save our work. And then you can go and click on the hamburger icon in the top left corner and say Exit to WordPress Dashboard right here. But I'm going to keep my Elementor open on this tab so I can come right back. I just want to show you guys, you can go over to Media on the left-hand side right here. So again, I'm going to open it on a new tab. And then from here, you can click on Add New on the top left right here and select Files. Now I'm going to go ahead and upload all of my images at the exact same time. So I'm going to select all of these like this, and then of course, just don't upload a second one of that one. And I'll say Open. And this way we can come in and just click on whatever image we want rather than having to wait on it to upload every time. So I'll see you guys in just a second. All right, and then once you're done with that, now you can see that all of your images are uploaded and ready to go. So we can close back out of this tab, and then we can just refresh this page. All right, so now we're back inside of Elementor because all we did was refresh the page. And just like that, if I were to go back and click on the 6 dots here, go to the Style tab, and then click on the image that we just changed, you'll see that now in my media library, I have all the images that I can choose from. So that saves you a lot of time rather than having to upload them one at a time. Okay, so let's go ahead and close out of this guy. The next thing I'm going to do is edit this text. And there's 2 ways to edit text on Elementor. Both are incredibly easy. You can straight up just edit the text on the page just like this, so I can type whatever I want. Or you can go over here to the left-hand side and type whatever you want. They make it really easy. So I'm going to go ahead and type out Chris Thomas, because that's the name of the website. It's the guy who's going to be, doing all the detailing. So you want his name up in the front. So now I'm going to go over to the Style tab, and I can change the typography right here, as well as the text color, but I think the text color is fine right here. So I'm going to go over to Typography, and I can click on the pencil icon right here. Now from here, I can choose the font if I want to. Right now it's on default, that comes with the theme, but you can always click here and change it to whatever you want. You can also change the size, which I am gonna do. So I'm gonna make it much bigger. So something like this, Chris Thomas right there, as big as it can go without sandwiching underneath. And then you can also change the weight, so you can make it really thin if you want to, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna leave it on what it was, or I think it was on default. And then we can change the style, as well as transform it to uppercase or capitalize, however you want to do it, but I'm actually going to leave it the way it is. I like how it's all caps and it's just huge like that. The next thing I'm going to do is click on this text and change it. I'm going to edit it right on the screen. Just like that. So auto detailing. And again, I'm going to go ahead and change this. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like when you transform it and stuff like that. So I'm going to go over here to the style tab and change the typography. First thing I'm going to do is transform it to uppercase. So you'll notice that it doesn't matter what I type here because I can change the font however I want to. The next thing I'm going to do is go down to letter spacing and increase it all the way out. And then I'm going to change the weight to be something a lot less. So something like 100. Now you'll notice that some fonts don't actually reduce in weight whenever you change them. So if you want, you can actually change the font of this bottom one if you really wanted it to change. So something like Arial. And now you'll notice that when I change the font to something like 900, it gets a lot thicker. And then when I change it down to like 100, it gets a lot thinner. And so I want it to look thin like this. And I am still going to increase the size. So I'll go back over here and make it a little bit bigger. So something like that, I think looks pretty good. Maybe down just a little bit. And then the last thing I'm going to do is bring these two texts a little closer together. And the way I'm going to do that is I notice that this top one has a little bit more space on the bottom if you see the blue box that I'm hovering over. And that's because it's got some padding. So again, click on it, go over to the Advanced tab, and you'll notice that padding right here, it's got 25 points of padding on the bottom. So if I just remove this by clicking it and deleting it, you'll notice it brings them closer together. Now I'm going to do the same thing and just add it to this bottom text. So there's a little bit of space, breathing room between the button and this text. So I just clicked on this text now. I'm going to go over to the Advanced tab and just add some padding to the bottom. So let's make this 25 like it was on the other one. Actually, let's go up. So I'm just going to use the up arrow till it looks pretty good. I think 45 looks pretty good to me. So I'll leave it like that. All right. So now I'm going to click on Update to save my work. The next thing I'm going to do is change this button right here, and it's really easy to edit some buttons. So you just click on it, and the first thing you'll notice is you can change the text. It says Learn More, and it says it right there. I'm going to leave it as Learn More, but right here you can type whatever you want if you want to. But again, I'm just going to leave it as Learn More. All right. And then this link right here is the biggest part of the button because that's where it's going to take them when they click on this button. So if you want Learn More to take them somewhere, like the About page, you could go ahead and search for the About page, like this, and it'll say, here's a page, and it's the About page. Click on it, and it automatically puts in your URL for the About page. So that's pretty cool. But what I'm going to do is something a little bit more special. So for now, I'm just going to put that hashtag back in, and I'll show you guys in just a second. But the hashtag is basically a placeholder for the link. So right now it's blank. So if I click on this, it doesn't do anything. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is change the style of it, and then I'm going to hook it up. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to the Style tab. The first thing I'm going to do is change the typography. So I'm going to click on the Edit button, because you can change the typography of the text in the button. And so I want the text to basically be the exact same as this right here. So I'm going to change it to Arial, so that the weight changes. So I'm going to go down to 100, so it's a lot thinner text. I'm going to transform it to uppercase, and then I'm going to go down to letter spacing and increase it. And then I can go ahead and decrease the size of the text if I want to. So maybe something like 11 or 12, I think looks pretty good. All right, so let's click out of the typography. The next thing I'm going to go down to is the text color, and I'm going to change it to completely white, like this. And then I'm going to change the color of the background of the button. So this is that orange color right now. I'm going to change it. So right now it's actually using like that color, but you can drag it to whatever you want. I'm just going to completely make it transparent like this. So there's no color in the background. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add a border. So I'm going to click on this one, which is border type, and say solid. And then I'm going to increase the width, because right now the width is 0, so you can't even see the border. So if I increase it to 1 point, now you can see the border. So let's increase it to about maybe 3 or 2. I'm going to change the color to white. And lastly, I'm going to edit the border radius. Right now it's using, you don't see it, but it's using a border radius. So right now it's curved, because when you add radius, you're adding a curve to it. So if you just go up and then back down to 0, you'll notice that now it's rectangular. If I increase the border radius like this, you'll see that it's curving over there on the right-hand side. Do you see that? So what I'm going to do is just click right here and bring it back down to 0. Perfect. So now this button looks really cool. You can see the car in the background, but you can still tell that it's a button. The last thing I want to do is add a hover animation to it. And this is really cool. You go over here to the left-hand side and see how I'm on normal, change it to hover, and then whatever changes I make here are only going to apply when someone hovers their mouse over it. Let me show you what I mean right now. I'm going to leave everything the exact same except for the background type. I'm going to change the color to, let's just say white like this. And then I'll change the text color to a black. Okay, so now when I hover over the mouse, you'll see that the background color changes to the white and that the text color changes to black. So I think that looks really cool when they hover and click on it like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and click on update to save my work. All right, now before I link this button up, the next thing I wanna do is just finish this section, and I wanna add a background overlay to this. So let's go ahead and click on the 6 dots up here to edit the background. And you'll notice I'm back on the style tab for background. Let's drop down to background overlay. Now background overlay is basically putting like this dark bluish color over my image. It's an overlay. So if I were to change this to something like blue, you'll see there's an overlay. And then from here, I can change the opacity, whether I want it completely blue or no blue at all. And there's just my background image. So you can play with this if you want to add a little bit of styling to your backgrounds. What I'm going to do is change the background type from classic, which is 1 color, to a gradient, which can be 2 colors. So now you see the blue on top and the red down here. What I'm going to do is click right here, and I'm going to change this to an orange color that I like. So let's go ahead and just put this all the way up into the corner to saturate it as much as we can. And I'm going to, so saturate it all the way. We can go ahead and drag this around until we choose a color that we like. And so I think this color looks pretty good. Right here. I like that orange right there. So from here, let's go ahead and copy this color code so we don't lose it. So I'm going to highlight it and say Control or Command C to copy, or you can right click and say copy. Because I don't want to lose that color. I want to use that same color for the rest of the website. So next, I'm going to change this other color to black. Or we can make it a dark gray if we want to, but I think maybe something like this would look pretty good. Okay. So now that we've done that, I'm going to change the location on both of these colors. So right now I can drag the black all the way over and I can drag the orange all the way over, and see how it makes this line? So you can do this and change how much of a fade you want. So if you want mostly black, you can do this. And so see how most of it is black and there's orange on the bottom? You can completely customize it the way you want, but I want them to overlap like this. Now the way that you do this perfectly is you say 50-50. So 50 on this one and 50 on this one. Perfect. Okay, so now it's dead center. And now lastly, I'm going to rotate the angle to about 90. Perfect. So now it's cutting it in half like this. And then we can change the opacity again. So if I want, I can make it a little bit darker, a little bit lighter, however you want to do it. I'm going to go ahead and choose something like, let's check out 0.5, like right in the middle. Yeah, I think 0.5 looks the best, just like this. Okay, so now we've finished our hero section here. So we've got his name, Chris Thomas, and what he does, auto detailing. And obviously there's a car in the background, but I think it looks really cool with how we've got like this black and orange background here. Now let's finish by linking up this button. So I'm gonna click on update to save my work real quick. And then let's go ahead and link this up. So I'm gonna click on the button and it opens it up over here on the left-hand side. We're gonna go back to the content tab. So I want this button to take them down right here to this about section right here. And then I'll set this button up to take them to the About page, the separate page. So again, if I go over here, you don't have to do this. I just want to show you. I'm opening it up on a new tab. I want this button to drop them down to this section, which is like a short About section. And then if they still want to learn more, they'll click on this button, and I want it to take them to the separate About page. So you'll click on this button right here, and now there's a separate About page where you can put even more information if you want to. So that's how I want it to work. So back in Elementor, I'm going to go down here, and what I'm going to use is basically what's called CSS ID, or basically an anchor. Basically, I'm putting a pin right here on top, so that when I click this button, I want it to drag the top of my screen to that pin. And so it'll go like this and put this section at the top of my screen. You'll see what I mean in just a second. So all it is just a simple matter of labeling. I'm going to go down here to the 6 dots and click on it to edit this section down here. I'll go over to the Advanced tab. And then the CSS ID, I'm just going to call it the About section. Just like that. That's all you have to do. I just labeled it, this section, the About section. And then I can say that this button right here, I want it to take people to the section that I called the About section. So the way that I do that is under the link, you leave the hashtag and just put the title of the section. Hashtag About. That's all you have to do. Now let's click on Update to save our work. And then if you want to test the button, all you have to do is click on Preview Changes right here, and it's going to open your website up on a new tab. And all you got to do is click on the button, and it automatically drags you right here to the About section. I love that. So again, all you got to do is click on it, and it drags you straight down. I think that looks really good. And then when they click on this button, it'll take them to the About page. Okay, so now we've finished editing this hero section. Let's move on down to the About section right here. And the About section is really easy to edit. This is the same thing as up above. You can just click on the text and immediately edit it straight on the screen, or of course going over here to the left-hand side. And then you guys already know how, because I did it above, to go to the Style tab, and then you can click on Typography right here. And this is where you can change things like the weight, transform it to uppercase or something like that. You can change the font, the size, and the letter spacing. So you guys can customize this to look how you want, but personally, I think it looks fantastic the way it is. Of course, because it's a template, so we already downloaded it. That means that someone already tried to make this look presentable. So the only thing I'm going to change here is this is going to say About Me, because I'm pretending like this is for Chris, so one individual. And then I'm also going to go ahead and change this title here. Perfect. I've been detailing cars since I was 17. Now, all you have to do is I can go to the Style tab, because I'm going to actually set it to capitalize. I wanted to show you guys. We'll go to the Style tab and then click on Typography. And from here, I'm going to go to Transform and say Capitalize, and you'll notice that it automatically capitalizes all my words for me. So that's just something you guys can do if you want to be a little lazy. Okay, and then the rest of it, this is all just dummy text, just filler information, sample content. I'm just going to leave it there. But of course, this is where you would actually put about information for your company. And then the last thing I'm going to do is edit this button the same way we did up above. So all you have to do is just click inside of the square here, and you'll see that it opens Edit button on the left-hand side. And then I can go ahead and type in whatever I want to the text, but learn more is appropriate because they want to learn more about you. The link right here, I'm going to go ahead and clear out the placeholder. And the cool thing about Elementor is Elementor knows the pages that you have on your website, so you don't have to actually go over here, open up your About page, copy the hyperlink, and then paste it into your link. All you have to do is type in the title of the page, which it's called the About page. And you'll see that Elementor automatically searches all of the pages on your website. And so I can click on the About page, and it's going to automatically insert your URL. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so we've linked up the button. The last thing I want to do is change it to be the same orange that we have up top. Now, I still have this orange color in my clipboard. If you don't, you can of course go to the 6 dots to edit this section. Go to the Style tab, and if you remember, we did a background overlay. And so we have the black on one side and we have the orange on the other. And so you just click right here and you can copy your orange code. But I already still have it in my clipboard, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on the button here, go to the Style tab, and I can change the color of the button right here. So I'll go ahead and paste it, Control-or-Command-V, or you could just right-click and say Paste. All right, so now we've got the same orange here. And then I'll change the text color to be white just to make sure it stays white like this. Perfect, so now it looks like that. I'm going to go back to the Hover tab. So I've got normal, but I want the hover animation to be a little bit brighter of an orange. And so the way that you do that is you go over here to the background color, and you go ahead and paste in your orange. And then we'll just drag it over here to the left a little bit. So it's a little bit more, a little bit brighter. And so now when I hover over it, you'll see it kind of hovers into a brighter orange, just like that. I think it looks good. Okay. So now that we're done with this, we can go ahead and click on Update to save our work. All right, so now that we're done with this little About section, let's scroll on down to the Services section, which I'm going to change to be a Packages section. So the first thing I'm going to do is go up here to the top left corner and change Services to Packages. So I'm going to go ahead and type right here, Packages. And then I'm going to go over to the Style tab and change up the typography just a little bit. So we're going to click on the pencil icon here. I'm going to first transfer it all the way up to a uppercase. And then I'm going to increase the size by a lot. And then I think I might increase the letter spacing just a little bit as well. So something like this. I think that looks fantastic. A little bit bigger maybe. Awesome. All right, the next thing I want to do is add another one of these spacers right below this one. And so all you have to do is you can right click on the one that's below it and say copy. And then you can just paste it right under here. So you can just say paste right there. And now it's going to paste that one right underneath. And notice that I right clicked on packages and said paste, and then it pastes the duplicate right here. Another way that you can do that is you can right click on it and just say duplicate. And it's going to add a second one, and then you can just drag it by this little pencil icon right underneath. So 2 ways of doing the same thing, but I'm going to delete this one. So right click on it and say delete. Okay, and now I'm going to click on this guy and edit it. I like the width the way it is because it's the same width as all of these lines here. So I'm going to leave it the same, but I am going to go over to the style tab and change the weight to be something like 4. There we go. So it's a little bit thicker. And then I can also go to packages right here, go to the advanced tab, and I'm going to remove some of the spacing in between these two. This is a personal opinion, so I'm going to just remove the space, but if you don't want to, you can of course leave it the way it is. But I'm going to go over here to the margins, unlink the values together, because if they're linked together and I go up or down, you'll see that they all go up at the same time. I'm going to unlink them so I can only affect the bottom, and I'm going to go down into the negatives. So I'm basically removing space from the bottom. So something like this. Let's go negative 25. Okay, I think that looks good, so I'm going to click on Update to save my work. Now, of course, the rest of these are all just basic text that you can click on and go ahead and just change it to be whatever you want. So this is where you would say, you know, this is packages. So this could be a subtitle, and then this could be package number 1, package number 2, and package number 3 right here. And you can, of course, put pricing in there as well. And then you can change this text as well just by clicking on it. But I'm going to change the background right here, and I'm going to do something a little bit cooler than we did on the hero section up here. I'm actually going to put a slideshow in the background. So let's click on the 6 dots to edit the section. Go over to the Style tab, and let's first change the background images. Now, instead of it being classic, which is a single image, I'm going to go over here to slideshow. And then you can click on the plus icon right here, and you can add all the images you want. So I'm going to use this one, and this one. And then I'm going to say create new gallery. From here, it's asking, do you want to change the order? And you can just drag and drop if you want to change the order, but I like the order that they're in. And I'll just click on insert gallery. And just like that, we've got our images in the background. Now, you can change the duration right here in milliseconds. So right now it's 5,000 milliseconds. And so remember, a millisecond is 1,000, there's 1,000 milliseconds in a second. So this is basically 5 seconds. So if I want to go up to 6 seconds, I can change it to a 6 right there. But you're changing the duration. So every 5 seconds, it's going to change to the next image. So you can speed it up or slow it down right here. You can change things like the transition, the background size, and stuff like that. But I'm actually going to change the background size to be cover. So it'll stretch the images to be the full background. And then I'm also going to change the background position to be center. Now, it doesn't look like it does any changes right now, but on different versions it might. So, all right, now that I've changed the background, I'm also going to add a different overlay because I don't like this bluish overlay. I want to actually change it to be black. So I'm going to click on the color right here, again, under background overlay. And I'm just going to drop it into a dark black like this. And then, of course, you can change the opacity because I think that's too dark, but you don't want it to be too bright because now you can see that it's hard to read the white text on top. So I'm probably going to drop it down to something like a 0.5. Just like this. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and move on to the next section, which is the project section. And so I'm actually going to change up the project section to be my department section, but before we actually edit it, let's make sure we save our work again by clicking update in the bottom left. All right, and now we're ready, so I'm going to click on projects and change this to departments. And you'll notice here that I'm changing every section to be my own. So this was technically services, but I changed it to packages. And this was technically projects, and I'm changing it to departments. So you can do whatever you want with whatever website you get. Even if you get a web design template, like if you're a web designer, you can still change it to be a photographer website if you want to. You just have to change your text and the images. Just want to show you guys you can do whatever you want here. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is change this forest wilderness right here to something else, something a little bit more applicable to departments. So different areas that we can help you. And again, I'm going to change that to capitalize. So I'm going to go to the Style tab, Typography, Transform to Capitalize. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is change these 3 images, which is pretty simple. So you just click on it, and it's an image box. So right here, after clicking on the image, I can change the image right here, the text, which is the title, and so there's Look into Nature, and then the description, which is the paragraph underneath it. It's very self-explanatory, really easy to change. So the first thing I'm going to do is change the image. So I'll go to my media library and I'll choose one. So I'm going to use this one. Insert. And then I'm going to change my title and description. There we go. Let's do the same thing to this one right here. So change the image, and I will choose this one right here. Perfect. And then I'm going to change my title, which again, you can type straight on the screen if you want to, but I just like doing it on the left-hand side for these. All right. And the last image right here. So you just click on it again, change the image on the left-hand side. And so I'm going to use, where is it? This one. Click on Insert Media and change the title again. Perfect. Okay, and this is just an example. Of course, you can put whatever you want here. I just chose to make them different departments, like interior versus exterior, and then just additional. And again, you guys can change up the bottom paragraphs right here to be a little description. So like interior detailing, you just have a little snippet here that says, you know, what's included with interior detailing, what's included with exterior, and what things constitute additional services or something like that. Okay, so now that we're done with the department section, I'm going to go ahead and scroll on down to this guy. And before we edit it, again, I'm going to click on Update to save my work. And now what I'm going to do is actually show you guys how you can use an entire library built into Elementor to save yourself some time. So right now, I've already saved you time by showing you guys how to download this entire template. But let's say you want to add a new section. So first, I want to remove this section right here. I actually don't like this little Learn More button with this text right here. And if you want to delete an entire section, you just hover right next to the 6 dots on the X and click on it. And it completely deletes that section. And so let's just say I wanted to add a testimonial section or like a customer review section to this website, just for social proof. Well, I can do that. I could build one from scratch by clicking on the plus icon right here, and then I can choose how many columns I want. So if I want 2 columns, and now I can from scratch start adding widgets here, and so I can do whatever I want. Or we can delete that. We can click on this gray little folder icon, and from here we're opening up Elementor's library. And so you'll notice that up on top we've got pages. And so if you scroll through these are complete pages that you can just insert onto your page. And then what I'm going to use is the blocks. And so blocks are basically little mini sections that you can use. So you'll see this is an about section. We keep scrolling. We've got archive sections, client sections, and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is go to the category right here, scroll on down to the very bottom and choose testimonials. And so now you can see all of the different testimonials that we have. And so I'm actually going to choose this option right here because I think it looks good. So all you have to do is click on Insert, and it's going to ask you to create an account with Elementor. It's very simple, and it's also a free personal account. So I'm going to do that real quick. You can say Get Started here. And from here, you would click on Create an Account, but I already have one, so I'll see you guys in just a second. Okay, so once you log in and create an account, it's automatically going to transfer you back to your website and insert the section that you just tried. If it doesn't do this automatically, you can go again to the gray folder icon, and now you should be logged in and linked up, so you can just do the same thing. We go down to testimonials, and then we can choose Insert right here. Perfect. All right, so I'm just going to delete that duplicate right there, and we can edit our little customer review section here. So first, let's add a background. I'm going to click on Edit Section right up on top. And then we'll go over to the Style tab first. And I'm not going to use just a black background. What I want to do is add an image. So let's click right here. And I'm going to choose this one and say Insert the image. I'm going to change the position to center. So now it's focusing on the center of the image. And then I'm going to change the size to cover. So what that means is it's going to stretch the image to be the full size. All right. And then from here, we'll go to background overlay, and we're going to add a classic one, because remember, classic is just a color or an image. And this way, we're going to go here and choose black. All right. And then, of course, you can play with your opacity however you want. So I might just darken this up a little bit. And then lastly, I want to change the size of this section. I want it to be a little bit bigger. So first, I'm going to check the Advanced tab to see if there's any padding. And I was right. So it looks like there's padding on the top and bottom. So I'm actually just going to delete both of these to turn them back to 0. All right, so now we're starting with a clean slate. The next thing I'm going to do is go to the Layout tab, and then I'm just going to change the height to, let's see, minimum height right here. And when you do that, now I can click and drag this slider and make this section as big as I want. And I think this is a good size right here. Perfect. All right, so now you can click on Update to save your work. All right, so now we have successfully added a testimonial section to the website, and it's really easy to edit. I'm actually not going to make any changes because I think as an example, it just looks great, but I wanted to show you guys how you can customize this to be your own. So of course you're going to need testimonials, so you'll probably have to provide some services first, before you can have a section like this. And then you'll ask your clients, hey, if I did really good work, would you mind just sending me a quick testimonial via email or something like that? And then you can basically quote them on your website. And so the way you do this is you can just click on the blue little pencil icon right here, and you're editing this widget, which is called a testimonial widget, which is pretty handy. It automatically has an image right here, the content, which is this paragraph on top, and then they've got the name and title. So Adam Sandler, which is close to Adam Sandler, that's funny, and then his title right below. So if they don't have a title, you can always just delete it like this, and then it'll just show their name. But you can, of course, always just have the title there if you want, or you could say customer, however you guys want to do it. And then, of course, you can click on this actual image, and then you can choose whichever image you want. So you'll have to have an image of them. But, of course, if you don't have an image, you can just hit the delete button, and it'll just remove it. And so you'll just have a name and stuff like that, which is also perfectly fine. And so that's how you edit this section. You can just click on this one and change its content, and the same for those two. And then the customer reviews, of course, you just click on it, and you can edit the text straight on the screen. All right, so I'm going to click on Update to save my work. And that's it. We've edited the homepage, and I think it looks great. If you ever want to preview your work to see what it looks like, you can go over here right next to the Update button and click on Preview Changes, this little eyeball icon. And it's going to open your website up on a new tab like this. And so now we're looking at your website through a customer's eyes. So we've got our logo up here, which I'm going to show you guys how to change, navigation section. Scroll on through, you can click on the button and it drags you down. The Learn More button we've already hooked up to the About page, so when they click on it, it takes them to the About page, which we haven't customized yet. So I'll go back. And then we've got the packages right here, departments, and customer reviews that they can look at. I think it looks really good. Okay, so I'm going to close out of this tab, and then I'm also going to close out of Elementor and just go back to my WordPress dashboard. Now, if you don't have your WordPress dashboard open, the way that you exit Elementor, and I think I've already shown you guys this before, is you'll just go over here to the hamburger icon right here and say exit to dashboard right there. And it'll take you back to your WordPress dashboard. And now that we're back on the dashboard, I wanted to mention something else. So I'm going to open the site up on a new tab. So I've just shown you guys how to edit the homepage on your own. So I'm going to leave it to you guys to edit all of the other pages of your website because I'm not sure which ones of these pages you're actually going to keep. So you can go to the About page, and again, it's the same thing as the homepage. All you have to do is edit this section right here, and you can change the background image. You could also change this background overlay because it looks a little bit darker. The text, of course, you would just edit on screen. All of this is just text that you can edit as well. And then you can, of course, go to the services page. And every single time you go to a new page, you just click on Edit with Elementor, and you can edit this page, or you can edit the projects page or the contact page. And then we have the contact page right here as well, which is also really easy to edit. Actually, I wanted to show you guys really quickly. We'll click on Edit with Elementor. So again, the contact page is really easy. You would click on these 6 dots if you wanted to edit this background image, go to the Style tab, just like we did on the home page, and you would change your image here. All of this is just text that you can change. And then this is actually the Google Map widget that you guys saw at the beginning that I pointed out. So it's right here. But to edit this one, you can't just click on it because it's actually interacting with the Google Maps widget. You have to go all the way over here to the right-hand side and click on the blue pencil icon. And then when you do, you can choose the location that it loads to. So right now it's loading to this location. So I'm just going to change this to Austin, Texas. All right, and it's just going to show Austin right here. And then you can also choose the zoom and the height. So right now I can make the map even bigger if I want to. And then I can also change the zoom. And so now it's even more zoomed out. So I just wanted to show you guys how you can edit this one right here. And we'll click on Update to save our work. Okay, so I'm going to close out of this and go back to my WordPress dashboard. All right, so now that we're back on our WordPress dashboard, we can go ahead and move on to step number 5, which is to edit the header and footer. We're going to be using Astra to edit the top and the bottom of our website, which is also known as the header and the footer of the site. In the header, you'll see the logo and the navigation menu. And then in the footer, you'll usually have the same thing. You might have a logo and some other navigation options. Everything in the middle is what we're going to use Elementor to customize. So just remember that Astra is the top and the bottom, or the header and footer, and Elementor is what we're using for the middle of your site. All right, so that being said, let's go ahead and edit the top and bottom of our website, or the header and footer. And the way that we do that is twofold. You can either go up here and open your website up on a new tab, and then click on Customize right here, and it'll open up your customizer for Astra. Or, let me close out of this tab, you can also go over to the Appearance tab right here on the left, and then click on Customize, which I'm going to also open on a new tab, and it'll take you to the same place. All right, so now we are in Astra's customizer. You can see that it's even telling you the active theme is Astra. And so that's what we're using right now. So in Astra, we're going to be using the header builder right here and the footer builder right here. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with the header builder. So we're going to be editing the header, which is up on top. Now, the cool thing about Astra is if I ever want to edit something, I can just click on the blue pencil icon when I hover my mouse over it. So if I want to edit the logo, I can click on this pencil and it'll take me straight to the transparent header where I can change the logo right here. So that's pretty cool. And again, if I want to edit this menu, I can click on this and it'll take me straight to the menu to edit it. But I want you guys to know how to get to everything, so I'm going to show you how to do it from the left-hand side. So once we're back on the main area, we click on Header Builder, and so now we're editing this header. And from here, you can see that we've got site title and logo, which is this widget right here, the button, which is way over here on the right, and then also the primary menu, which is this menu right here. So that's the menu on the side, which is a list, and then over here, you can actually see where the widgets are. So we've got the site title and logo, which is over here on the left-hand side. If I were to drag it to the center and place it there, you'll see that it's going to move it over to the center. So it's kind of similar to Elementor where we can still drag and drop some of these elements. And then the same thing with this. If I want to change the order of this, I can put the button in front of the menu, which I don't think looks right, but now you've got a button over here. So I'm going to go ahead and move it back to the back. All right, so from here, let's go ahead and edit this logo first. And so you can click on site title and logo, and it'll take you to the logo, or you can actually click on the actual widget and it'll do the same thing. So it takes you right here. So right now it's using the Sierra Nature. And so you'll notice that this one's white and that this one's dark because there's two different logos on the website. This is the main logo. So anytime there is not a transparent header, which there is right now, but anytime there isn't a transparent header, it's going to use this one. And then anytime there is a transparent header, it's going to use a different logo, which you can see right here by customizing the transparent header. And you'll notice that the white logo is right here. So if I were to remove the white logo right here, or just turn off this setting, different logo for transparent header, you'll notice that now you can barely see it, but it's using that dark blue logo instead of the white one. So it's a setting that you can turn off and on, but I definitely recommend it for sure if you're going to be using a transparent header like this website already has, because you want to be able to have two different versions of your logo, one that you can put over a dark background and one you can put over a light background. For instance, if that logo was right here, you wouldn't see the white one, so you'd want to use the dark blue one. So let's go ahead and change this logo now, and I'm going to show you guys how to build your own logo for free without having to download any software. So let's get into that right now. The first thing I'm going to do is click on Publish just to save my work. And Publish is the same thing as the Update button on Elementor that's in the bottom left. It basically publishes your work and saves it. So I'm going to go up to a new tab and go to a website called Logo Maker. So Logo Maker, but make sure you forget the e.com. All right, and so this is the free software we're going to be using to build your logo, and you're not having to download anything. It's just completely free. So I'm going to click on Start My Design right here, and it's going to give you like little mini tutorials. You can just click out of those because I'm going to show you how to use it right now. Over here on the left-hand side, we've got some basic functions like adding text to your screen like that, or adding a shape like a triangle or a square or something like that. So I could add a circle if I wanted to. And then we've got the paint bucket. Up here in the top left corner, we've got the search bar where you can click on it and search from over 1 million, or I think it says 3 million different graphics for free. And so you can use any of these that you want. You could also search for something like camera if you're a photography. And you'll find that they have tons and tons of free icons that you can use to make your own camera logo. But I'm going to go ahead and close out of this guy. So I'm going to click on Back to Canvas. And then on the right-hand side, we've got the color wheel, the saturation square, and then you can also change the opacity right here. So make something more transparent or opaque. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is go up to the search bar and look for a car. And so you can look through all of these, but none of these are actually catching my eye, so maybe I'll try something like sports car. Okay, these are all looking pretty cool. I actually like this one right here, so I'm going to click on it, and it's automatically going to add it right here. Now you'll notice I can click and drag it just like an Elementor or something like that. Okay, so now I've got my car here. The next thing I want to do is put a circle around it, so it's like a ring. And so the way that I'm going to do that is go over to my basic shapes, and I can just add a ring like this. And then I can take my car and my circle, and I can center them up if I want to, like this. And they all snap into place, which is really nice, just like that. Now, obviously, the circle has to be a lot bigger, so you can just drag it by grabbing onto the corner right here. Put it like that. I think that's a good size for it. The next thing I want to do is change the color of the circle. So while I've already clicked on it and I've got the circle selected, I'm going to go over here to my saturation square, or excuse me, this is the saturation wheel, where I can change the color, or I can just go ahead and desaturate it into a black. just like this. All right, I think that looks pretty good so far. Now, the last thing I want to do is increase the width of that ring. So I can go over here and click on it and then go to the styles. And I can change the cutout right here. So I can make it a lot thicker if I want to. So I'm going to maybe go down to something like 95. I think that looks a little bit better. Now, because this is an example, I'm just keeping my logo design pretty simple. But of course, you guys can get pretty creative here and make this look however you want. But I think this looks fine the way it is. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is go over here and click on the save icon. So when you're ready to go and export your logo, you'll click on the save icon right here. And you'll notice right here, it's saying, do you want to get the high resolution file and pay for it? And this is where we're going to say, no, I want to download the low resolution PNG file right here. And so you click on it and it's going to say agree to the terms and make sure that you acknowledge that this logo is from Logo Maker. So just make sure you put that somewhere on your website and then you can download the free low resolution file. So I'm going to click on this right here. All right, so I downloaded my logo. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. Let's close on that. I'm going to do the exact same thing, but I'm going to go ahead and click and drag and highlight everything like this. So now I'm editing everything and I'm going to change it to white, just like this. Now you can't see it, but it's still there. And the reason I'm doing that is if you guys remember, we have a transparent header with a dark background. So I want to make sure that my logo also is white so that you can see it. So going back to Logo Maker, I'm going to click on save one more time. I'm going to say download the low resolution file, accept the terms of service, and download it. Okay, so now that you've done that, you can go ahead and close out of Logo Maker. Unless you guys just want to keep making some changes, I'll leave that to you. But I'm going to close out of both of these tabs because you don't need them anymore. So now that we've created our logo for free, we can go back into site title and logo, and we can say change the logo. So from here, it's not going to be in your media library because you just downloaded it. So you have to upload the file from your computer, and we'll say select files. And then I already have my logos here. So I'm just going to highlight both of them and install them. Okay, and so let's select the dark one first and say select. It's going to ask if you want to crop your logo, and I'm just going to say skip cropping. And just like that, we've got our logo in the top left corner, and you'll notice that it's this dark gray color, so it's kind of hard to see over this darkness here. So this is where we have to add the transparent header logo right here. So I'm going to click on customize my transparent header. I'm going to remove this image and select my own, which is the white one. Perfect, and now you can see the white logo in the top left corner. You can also change the logo width right here by dragging this slider right here and make it as big as you want, but I think by setting it to reset or the default size, I think it looks just fine like this. So I'm going to click on publish to save my work. All right, so now we've customized this. We can go over here to the right-hand side and customize the menu as well. And the way that we do that is while we're editing the transparent header, which by the way, if you're not still here, we're going to go to the header builder and then drop down to transparent header. This is where you can edit and customize the coloring, size, and stuff like that about your menu. So we'll go over to the design tab and you can see that you can change colors for literally everything up here. So we can change the, let's see, the site title, which is actually not being displayed, and you really don't want your site title displayed. But we can go over here to menu color and we can change the text link color. So right now it's white and it hovers as a little bit of a brighter white. But what I want it to do is I want this color to be white, so that's good. And then I want this color to be the orange color that we have, which we just accidentally copied it by double clicking. I didn't realize that. So let me go ahead and really quickly open up my site on a new tab. Edit with Elementor. I'm going to edit this section here, go to the style tab. And if you guys remember, under background overlay is where our orange is. You can also go right here to this button because we also put the orange here. And you can go to style tab and copy this button color. All right, and I'll go back here. And so I want that color to apply whenever I hover over these. So we'll go over here to the text link and you have to click on this one right here, which was my mistake. And we'll Control V. And I'm going to remove that extra number sign there. Perfect. And so now we've got our orange color right there. So now when I hover over these, you'll see that they change into that orange color. So it kind of matches the style of the website. And then we can change the background color, which I wouldn't do because then it puts this random color square behind it, which kind of defeats the purpose of the transparent header. But we can also change that button color as well. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So I'm going to click on publish to save my work and close out of this guy. And so now we're going to click on the button right here. And this is where we can link up the button. So right now it says take action. Now what I'd recommend doing is instead of saying take action, I would delete this button right here for the contact page and make this your contact button. So let's do that. I'm going to change the text here and say contact. And you'll see that now it says contact. And then I can change the link to be my contact page. Now, Astra isn't like Elementor. If I type in contact right here, it's not going to search other pages. So I actually have to go and get my link for this. So in order to do that, I'm going to go back to my dashboard here. And I'm going to open up my pages on a new tab. So right here on the left-hand side, pages. And this is going to show you all of the pages that you have on your website right now. And you'll notice that they all link up to the same links that you have up here. So about, services, projects, contact. And you'll see right here, about, services, contact, project, and stuff like that. So we're going to click on view for the contact page. And then we can copy our link right here. So just take the whole thing, Control or Command C, and then paste it right here, Control or Command V. And then you can also set whether or not you want it to open up on a new tab when they click on that button. This is kind of up to you, but I always prefer to have it open on a new tab. And now let's go ahead and click on Publish to save our work. Perfect, and now it's saved. All right, and so now that we've changed the text and the link, let's also change the color. So we can go to the Design tab, and we're going to change the color of the button. So let's change the background color. So first, I want it to be the orange color of the website. So again, let's click on that and paste our color right here. Oh, just kidding. Remember, we accidentally pasted the hyperlink. So we have to go back and open up that page again in Elementor. So edit with Elementor. And then we can scroll on down and pull that same orange color that we're using for the rest of the site. Control or Command C. And then we'll come back to the Customize page and paste it right here. Perfect. So now you'll see that the button is bright orange, which I think looks fantastic. I'm also going to change the hover color. So we're going to click right here and again, paste this, Control or Command V, and then I'm going to drag it over to the left like this. And so now when they hover over it, it lights up. I think that looks good. So let's click on Publish to save our work. And then from here, what we can do is go ahead and remove that contact from the list. So let's do that now. I'm going to click on the back button here and then click it one more time. I'm going to drop all the way down to the Menus tab right here. And then from here, you can choose the main menu, currently set to primary menu. Let's click on that one and we can edit the menu right here. So now you'll notice it says Home, About, Services, Project, Contact. Home, About, Services, Project, Contact right here. If we want to change the order, we can always just drag and drop. So if I want Home to be in the back, I can totally do that. And you'll notice that now Home is way back here, which I don't think that's an appropriate order, but you can if you want to. So I'm going to put it back in the front. If you want to remove something from this list, you can just click on it and then click on Remove. Perfect. So now it's Home, About, Services, Projects, and then Contact, they have to click on the button, which you want them to get in contact with you so you can actually start making business with them. So that's why I kind of like to make it a bright button so that they see it quickly. So now that that's done, let's click on Publish to save our work. Okay, and I think we're done. We've gone ahead and changed to our own custom logo, and then we also have the menu over here and our button customized. One last thing I wanted to show you guys before we move on to the footer was how to actually change your site icon, which it's really easy. So we're gonna go all the way back to the main menu, click on Header Builder, and then we'll click on Site and Title logo, so you can click either one. And then we're gonna change the site icon right here. And so you're gonna click on it, and it's gonna glitch out. That's so cool. And then we're gonna click on Site Icon right down here. And from here, all you have to do is just select your own site icon. So I can click on it, and I'm just gonna choose the actual logo that I use for my website, so it's the same, and click on Select. And it's gonna ask, do you wanna crop it? And I'm gonna say skip cropping. And now you'll see that I've got my own little icon up here. Because at first, we haven't refreshed these pages yet, but at first it was the HostGator icon. So that's pretty cool that you can customize that. So I'm gonna click on Publish to save, and now we can move on to the footer. Okay, so I'm gonna click on the back button and go all the way to the main menu, and then click on Footer Builder right here. And it's automatically gonna drop you to the very bottom right here. Now the footer builder is pretty easy as well. It's the same as the header. You'll notice that we've got widget 1, which is all of this. We've got widget 2, which is all of this. And we've got widget 3, which is all of that. And then on the very bottom row, which you can see how there's 2 different rows, as I hover, the blue square moves from the top to the bottom. The bottom row only has the copyright and the powered by. And so if you want to remove one, you can just click on the X right here. And so if you want, you could remove the HTML right there. And then if you wanted to add something, you can just click on the plus button right here, and you could just add some HTML of your own if you want to. But of course, for now, it's just going to automatically put it back right there. Now, if you want to edit the first widget, you just click on it like this. Say got it, because it's just showing you what it is. And so now it's just basic text. That's all this is. You've got a little mini about section in the footer. So you can click on it, and then you can change the title right there, and you can change the text right here. Pretty simple. And when you're done, of course, click on publish to save your work. And then over here, we've got the services. And so we can click on widget 2, and you'll see that it's in line with widget 2. And all this is just a navigation list. And so you can click on services right here, and you'll see that it's a navigation menu, and it's using a specific menu called services. And so if you wanted to, you can completely delete this, or you can customize this menu to be whatever you want. So for instance, instead of services, I could just completely remove this, or I could say navigation. And then I could change this services to be the main menu like this. And so now we've got the home, about, services, and projects, just like we do at the very top of our website right here. So you can do that if you want. And so now when they click on the home or the about or services, if they scroll to the bottom of the page, they can still go to different pages without having to go to the very top to click on the next page. So that's what I'd recommend doing. So we'll click on publish to save our work. And then lastly, you can edit this contact section as well by going over here to the widget 3. And you'll see that it's the contact right here. The first one is just text, so you click on it, and you can just change the title right here and the contact information, so you could kind of enter in your email or something like that. Or you can edit the list on the bottom, which again is a navigation menu is what it looks like, which I wouldn't recommend making this a navigation menu. So I'm actually just going to remove it by clicking on the options and saying remove legacy widget. And I would just put all of that information into the contact section right here. So I would say, click enter right here and put in your phone number, 512-555-5555. And then you could put in, your email, which would be example@email.com or something like that. Perfect. And then you'll notice that it just kind of has your information there on the right-hand side. So now I'm going to click on publish to save my work. And we are good to go. Okay, so now we finished the footer as well as the header. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out of the customizer tab. And we also don't really need Elementor open anymore, so we'll go back to the dashboard. All right, so now that we're back on our WordPress dashboard and we finished our header and footer, it's time to move on to step number 6, which is our mobile responsiveness. So mobile responsiveness just refers to your website's ability to reshape into a different orientation. We just customized your website for the desktop view, and a desktop is usually a medium-sized rectangle view. But what about cell phones? More than half of your future clients are going to try and visit you on the site on their smartphone while they're on the go. And a cell phone is a rectangle as well, but it's in a vertical orientation. If we were to try and compress the website we just built from the horizontal to a vertical, it's going to look different. So we have to check our mobile responsive mode, which we can do in Elementor. So let's go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to go ahead and open my website up on a new tab. And then from here, I'm going to click on Edit with Elementor. All right, so now that we're back in Elementor, if you want to open up the mobile responsive mode, you're going to drop down here right next to the update button and the preview button on the left-hand side. It's called mobile responsive or responsive mode. So you're going to click on that and you'll see a ribbon open up on the top. So we've got desktop, tablet, and mobile. And tablet is kind of in between the mobile and desktop because obviously this is a horizontal rectangle, this is a vertical rectangle, and this is a vertical rectangle, but it's pretty wide. And so you kind of have to make different versions of your website for all three of them. Now, the cool part of downloading the template, which we did at the very beginning of this video, is all of those templates are already done for you. They're already made to be responsive for the mobile and tablet version. All we're gonna have to do is go through it and make sure that nothing changed while we were customizing it to be our own. So let's go ahead and click on mobile, and you'll see that it's going to compress the website into what looks like a mobile smartphone screen. And right off the bat, you can already see that the text that we customized to be our own is obviously too big for the mobile version. Now, the cool thing about desktop, tablet, and mobile versions is there's a lot of changes you can make that will affect one and not affect the other. So for instance, the text is big on the desktop version, but if I go to the mobile version and I were to change the size of this text, it will not change the desktop size of the text, which is really cool. And the way you know if it's going to affect the other versions or not is, let's go ahead and click on the heading section right here. So we'll click on Edit. You'll notice that when I go to the Style tab and I go to Typography to change the size of the text, If it has this little smartphone symbol right next to it, it means that you're only editing the mobile version. If I click on it, you'll see that it has all three: desktop, tablet, and mobile. So as long as it has this little mobile version right next to it while you're in the mobile view, you're only editing the smartphone. So if I were to make this text super small like this, and then click on update to save my work, and then I go over to the desktop view, you'll notice that it did not change the size of this text. So we can rest easy when we're making a lot of changes to the mobile version. So I'm going to go back into the typography and change the size to something a little bit more appropriate. So you could do something like this right here, where you make it to where it's not stacked, or you can go even bigger where it's stacked. That's completely up to you, but personally, I kind of like the unstacked look, so I'm going to look like this. Perfect. And then next, let's change this one to be a little bit smaller. So I'm going to click on it, go to the Style tab, change the typography, and I'm going to decrease the size. And so let's bring it up to something like this, then I'll just use the arrow keys. And then lastly, we've got this button right here, which the button looks fine, but I want to go ahead and actually kind of increase the size of this. And so we're going to go to the 6 dots to edit the section here. Go to the Advanced tab, and you'll notice that it's using different padding. But again, you see the mobile version icon right here. So any changes we make to these aren't going to affect the rest. And so all I want to do is add padding to the bottom. So it looks like the top has 150. So I want equal space on the bottom. So let's just say 150 right here. Perfect. So now I think that looks fantastic. So I'm going to click on update to save my work. Now, we didn't really make any changes to the About section, and so because we didn't, it looks like it compressed correctly, and it looks fine. So we don't have to do anything to the About section. We'll go ahead and pass on over it, and we've got the second section here, which is the Packages section. All we have to do is kind of change the size of this text here, so I'll click on it, go to the Style tab, and I'm going to reduce the size, so something like this, and then we can scroll on through. I think it looks fantastic. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and change the order of this and put it on the bottom, but I think it's fine right there. So we'll scroll on past, and now we've got the Department section, and you'll notice that it took all three of the images that are side by side and put them on top of each other. So, and it looks great. So we've got the interior detailing, the exterior detailing, and the additional services. Scroll on down a little bit more, and we've got the customer reviews, which also, again, automatically compressed to be vertical. So it put all three of the testimonials on top of each other, because again, we used a pre-built block for this from Elementor. So that's kind of the bonus of using pre-made sections and pages, is they're automatically going to be compressed correctly when you use them on mobile or tablet. All right, so I think it looks fantastic. Everything else is good. All we really had to do was just do some quick fixes to the hero section. And so I'm going to click on update to save my work. And again, one last time, if I go back to the desktop view, you'll notice that it doesn't change anything about the desktop view. So that's pretty cool. All right, so now that we're done with this, I'm going to go ahead and close out of Elementor. And again, if you guys are making changes to the rest of your pages, so I'm going to open the site up again on a new tab. I just edited the home page for the mobile responsive view. But if you go to the About page and you guys made changes to this, you'll have to again go to Elementor for the About page and then go over to mobile responsive mode and select mobile. And then you'll have to edit this page with the mobile version. And then you have to do the same thing for the contact page and the services page and everything else. So that's why web design can sometimes be a little time consuming, because you have to make multiple versions of the same pages that you just built for one, like the desktop view and the mobile view. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out of this tab. I'll let you guys go make your changes because I'm assuming you guys customize those on your own. All right, at this point, you have a fully functioning, customized website at your fingertips and you're ready to go. If you're still here, then you're looking for the bonus stuff, which is where I'm gonna show you how to add some flair to your website. I'm gonna show you how to add and remove pages to your site, how to link up images so that they're clickable with links to different pages on your site, as well as adding motion effects and a preloader to your site. The motion effects and the preloader are going to give your website some extra class, so let's go ahead and get right into it. The first thing I'm going to do is go over here to the left-hand side to Pages and open it up on a new tab. And so this is where you can see all of the different pages on your website. If you ever want to remove a page from your site, all you have to do is hover over it and click on Trash, and it's going to add it to your trash can, which is essentially temporarily deleting it. And then once you move it to trash, so let's go ahead and do it with this sample page, I'll click on Trash. Perfect. And then once it's in the trash can, you can go over to the trash can by clicking right here, and then you can completely delete it permanently. Perfect. And then you can click back on all and see all of the pages that you have on your site. Now, if you want to select multiple, you can always just use these checkboxes and select as many as you want. and I'll select just the privacy policy page. You can click on bulk actions and say move to trash and then click apply. So that's how you remove pages from your website. But how do you add pages? Well, it's pretty simple. We're going to go up here to the top left corner and click on add new, which I'm going to open up on a new tab. All right, and then we'll just close out of this guy right here. So if we go back to the pages tab, you'll notice that these are the titles of the page. This is called the about page, the contact page, home page. So what we're going to do is add a title for this page. So let's just say we were going to add a locations page. Perfect. We would title it what it is, locations. And then we'll go over here to the right-hand side and say publish and publish again. One other setting that you're going to do, so we'll click on that X, is we'll go over to the template right here and change it from default to Elementor full width. And so what that means is it's going to set Elementor to be the full width of the page. So whatever we make in Elementor is what's taking up the entire screen. And so now that we're done, we'll click on update and we're done. So from here is where you can go into edit with Elementor and completely customize the page to whatever you want. And just like we did before, you can click on the plus button and then add sections by default like this and build them from scratch, or you can click on the gray folder icon and you can add in some pages or a block like this, and you could add like a hero section, an about section, and all of that stuff from here. And then when you're done, you'll just click on update to save your work and then close out of Elementor. And that new page will be displayed down below. So let's refresh this page. And so now you'll see locations is here and ready to go. If you want to change the name of a page, you can click on quick edit and you can change the title right here. So I could change it from locations to something else. And then you would want to change the slug as well, which is the same thing, but just lowercase. When you're done, you click on update and you're good to go. Now, let's just say you added a new page to your website. Don't you also want to add it to the main menu that's up here? Well, that's really easy to do. We're just going to click on customize once we've opened our site on a new tab. And we'll drop down to menus right here. And then we're going to go to the main menu. From here, you can add items. And under pages, which are all the pages on your website, you'll see the new page you just created pop up. So you'll just click on it and it adds it to the menu. And so now you'll see on the right-hand side, it's going to say location. So I'll click on publish to save my work. And now you'll see we've got locations right here. And if they click on it, it takes them straight to that page. If you ever want to remove one, again, I showed you guys earlier, you just click on it and say remove. And then we'll click on publish. Now we can close out of this tab, and I'm also just going to remove it from the actual website because obviously I didn't create one. So I'll click on trash and it's no longer on my website. All right, so that's how you add and remove pages. Let's go ahead and open our site up onto a new tab and open up Elementor. And I'm going to show you guys how you can take the department section and actually add individual department pages. So let's just say that there was an interior detailing page because you have a lot of information that you want to display about interior detailing. And then you have a separate page for exterior and then another page for additional services. And then you want basically these to be clickable icons so that when someone clicks on this picture, it takes them to that page where they can read a lot more than just this little tiny paragraph. Well, that's really easy to do. All you have to do is click on the image that you want to edit right here. And it looks like I actually removed the order. So let's go ahead and just place it on the other side. Perfect. So I've got interior, exterior, and additional services. Well, let's just say you want to edit interior detailing. So I'm going to click on it just like this. And then you'll notice the link right below. It's really easy to do. So all you would do is link it to a specific page. So for this example, I'm just going to link it to the about page. And just like that, you've linked up that image. So I'm going to click on publish. All right, so now if I preview the page just like this, I can scroll on down to the bottom of my website where the departments are. And if I click anywhere on this image, it's going to open up that page that I linked it to. And you guys can already see the capability that you have with this because now you can create an individual page for interior, individual page for exterior, and additional services, and then link each one of these images to a specific page. The last thing I want to do to this department section is add a slow fade to each one of these. And that's really easy to do as well. We can go over to the Style tab. We can click on the Hover tab right here, and then go to CSS filters, and we can do things like blur the image, or add brightness to it, contrast, saturation, or whatever we want to. So if we want, we could say the hover animation will make it black and white, and that's by changing the saturation to 0. And so whenever I hover over the image, it changes it to black and white. Or you could say the saturation is back up to normal, but you want to change the blur all the way up. And so when I hover over it, it blurs the image like this. So that would be pretty cool. I just wanted to show you guys that you can make these links and then also add a hover animation. You could also add an animation like grow. And so when you hover over it, it grows like this. Or you could choose shrink and it would get smaller and so on. All right, and then once you guys are done adding whatever hover animations you want, you can click on update to save your work. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the last thing, which is adding motion effects and a preloader to the site. I think that adding motion effects and a preloader always add a little bit of extra class to your website, and it just makes it look a lot more flowy and aesthetic. So let's go ahead and go back up to the top and customize our website accordingly. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you guys how to install the preloader, and then we're going to customize the motion effects. So back on the dashboard, I always have it on multiple tabs so I can go back. But again, if you don't, you can just click on the hamburger icon and say exit to dashboard. So back on the dashboard, we're going to go over to plugins and then say add new right here, which I'm going to open on a new tab. And the plugin that we're looking for is called Preloader. And so we're looking for one called Preloader Plus right here. So I'm going to say install now and activate. Perfect. And now that we've done that, you'll see Preloader Plus down here on the left-hand side, which you don't need to click on this because we're actually going to go over to Appearance and then click on Customize. Now you'll recognize that this is the same place where we edited the header and the footer, but now down below, you'll see Preloader Plus pop up in the bottom. So we're going to click on that bad boy. Here you can change things for the position. So instead of it being on the top, you could put it in the middle or on the bottom. And so now you'll notice it's going to be down here on the bottom of the page. So there's your loading progress bar. But to be honest, I don't really like progress bars on my preloader. So I'm just going to go to settings and turn it off by clicking on the eyeball. And so now right now, all we have is the built-in icon. So now I actually want to use my logo as that animation instead of just that swirling bar right there. So I'm actually going to turn off the built-in icon and use a custom image right here. Now, nothing's going to pop up, of course, because I haven't added the image yet. So let's do that now. I'm going to go and click on the back button and go to image. And under custom image, I'm going to select my own, which is going to be my white logo. So I'm going to say choose image. And so now you're going to see my logo right here as the preloader. The next thing I'm going to do is go down to my animation for my custom image, and I can choose rotation. And I can also change the animation speed, so I'm going to change it to something a lot slower, like 500. Well, it looks like the lower to the number, the faster it goes. So let's change it to something like 3000. Perfect. I think that looks pretty good. And you can also change the dimensions. So instead of 250, let's just say 50. And so it can make it a lot smaller, or you can change it to something a lot bigger, so like 300. But personally, I think something around 150 or 200 looks good. Perfect, so 150 looks pretty good. Now the last thing I want to add, so I'm going to click on the back button, is go over to settings, and I want to add some custom content right here. And so this allows me to actually add some text. So I'm going to add this at the very bottom under custom content. Chris Thomas. All right, so next let's actually change the text of that. So I'm going to go over here to the back button and go to typography. And under custom content, I'm going to change this to be capitalized, or excuse me, uppercase. And then I want the size to be much bigger. Let's try even bigger than that. I think 100 is too big, so I'm actually going to go down to 75. I think that's perfect right there. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can also edit a little bit of the actual animation itself. So you can change things like the animation's delay or the duration, and then you can also change the content animations or the preloader animations, which I'm not going to make any changes here, but I wanted to show you guys that you can if you want to. All right, and now we're done. We have completed our preloader, which I think it looks pretty classy. So I'm going to click on Publish to save. And so basically that preloader is going to pop up while the website is loading so that you don't just see a blank screen, you'll see that rotating icon. So it looks a little bit better than just having something blank. So I'm going to close out of my Customizer tab and go back into Elementor. So now that the preloader is done, let's go ahead and add some motion effects to the website. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually going to be editing the About section, because this hero section kind of has its own motion effect, so to speak, when the preloader kind of loads into the site. So I've noticed that when I add something to the hero section behind the preloader, it's kind of just pointless. So I'm going to skip the hero section and go straight to the About section. I'm going to click on the column to edit the column itself. And I'm going to go to the Advanced tab and then click on Motion Effects. And so now from here, I want to have my entrance animation be a fade in from the bottom. So let's just say fade up, just like this. Now I'm going to change the duration to slow. And I might even add 100 milliseconds or something like that if I want to add just a little bit of a delay. So I'm going to click on Update to save my work. All right, so now that's done, let's go ahead and drop on down to the next one, which is the Packages section. So I'm going to edit this entire column and say Advanced Motion Effects. And I want it to fade in from the left right here. I want it to be slow. And I might even add a delay if I want to, but I don't think I'm going to. And I'll do the same thing with this one on the right. So I'll say column, advanced, motion effects. I want it to fade in from the right with a slow delay, or excuse me, a slow duration. All right, so now I'll drop down to the department section right here. And I'm not going to add any motion effects to the top two titles, but I am going to add motion effects to each individual image or department right here. So the way I do that is I can just click on the pencil icon for each individual thing. I'll go to the Advanced tab, and I'll go to Motion Effects, and I can add a motion effect to come in from the left at a slow speed. And then I want the one on the right-hand side, so I'll click on this one next, Advanced. I want this one to have motion effects to come in from the right at a slow speed. And then I want the one in the center, so I'll click on this pencil, Advanced tab. I want the motion effect to come in from the bottom, so fade up. And I want it to be slow. Perfect. Let's click on Update to Save, and then we'll move on to the next one, which is customer reviews. So what I want these to look like is for them to all come from the center, and this one is going to come to the left, this one is going to come to the right, and then I want this one to just appear in the center. So it kind of looks like it's shuffling a deck or whatever. So I'm going to edit this column first, go to the Advanced tab, Motion Effects, and I'll say I want this one to come in from the right. So it looks like it came from the center. And again, I want it to be slow. Then I'm going to do this one the same way. So edit this column right here, Advanced, Motion Effects, and I want it to come in from the left with a slow speed. And then I want the one in the center to be a little bit different. So this one's going to be Advanced, Motion Effects. I want this one to fade in just on its own, slowly, and I want a delay of almost an entire second. So let's say 800 milliseconds. I think that'll be good. We'll click on Update to save our work. And we're done. So we've added motion effects and a preloader to the site. So let's go ahead and preview our work. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of Elementor. And then let's just go ahead and open up the website one last time to take a look. I love how everything slides and fades into place. It looks so cool. If you're interested in getting started on building your first website today, go ahead and click on the link in the top left corner and get hooked up with a custom domain name and a discounted hosting plan. You can click on the video in the top right corner to learn some more helpful tips on making money with your website. I'll see you guys in the next video.